class.
For those of you sitting in the room, that clock is not right. I think the battery's about to die. It is 5 o'clock. With that being said, call to order the workshop session for Common Council meeting September 19th, 2017 at 5 o'clock p.m. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Here.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Here.
Councilmember Shikawa?
Here.
Councilmember at-large Wilwisham.
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Since this is a workshop session, we'll skip over number 2, certification of prior meetings. We'll skip over number 3, reading of the privilege of the floor regulations. We'll skip over number 4, privilege of the floor. We'll start with number 5, communications from the mayor, including disapproval messages. Mayor, do you have anything at this time? Nothing. Number 6, communications from the public and petitions. Clerk?
Number 1, request from the Real Moms of Dunkirk Football Committee is requesting to use the corners of Central Avenue and 4th Street, Central Avenue and 5th Street, and West Doty Street near the Fire Hall to conduct a Tag Day fundraiser on Saturday, September 23rd, 2017, from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m.
Any discussion, council? Seeing none, I will make my usual motion. Need a first? First. By Councilman Gonzalez.
I'll second.
By Mr. Bamanto. Number 2.
Notice of summons from Princess case, personal injuries allegedly sustained due to a fall at the senior center parking lot.
I will refer this to the city attorney's office and need a first. Councilman Williams, Councilwoman Shikawa.
Request from the Dunkirk City School District to have 1 police officer for supervision of the high school varsity girls soccer game against Olean on September 28th from 4 p.m. till 7 p.m.
Any discussion? I will make a motion to refer this to the Dunkirk Police Department and need a first. Councilman Williams, second. Councilman Gonzalez. I will call the roll. Number 7, reports of standing committees, boards, and commissions. Councilman Williams?
Nothing here.
Councilman Bamanto? Councilman Gonzalez? Councilwoman Shikawa?
Nothing.
I have one thing, surprisingly. Usually it's you guys. Randy, I don't know if you can answer this question. In the 4th Ward, there is a noise ordinance for trains blowing their whistles during certain hours and not during certain hours. I've noticed recently the train that goes from Cliff Star to Dunkirk Ice Cream through the old Cook's Brewery, traveling, going from Cliff Star to Dunkirk Ice Cream area at about 10 or 11 o'clock every night, and comes back at about 2 or 3 in the morning every night. And obviously there's no signs, there's no arms or anything where they cross the road, so they blare away the whole entire time. And I literally live 50 yards from those railroad tracks, so I know.
Yeah, the agreement was with Metro Southern Railroad
Okay.
for the quiet zone. That track, Chief, correct me if I'm very wrong, the old DAB Railroad is now part of CSX. That's correct.
Different company. Okay. Hopefully it's just a temporary thing. It's never been like that before. They just started doing it recently, so.
They run during the day, and it's something that changed recently?
It's only been going on for,
What, 2 weeks maybe?
yeah.
It
But-
might play into the boy who did commit suicide by train not too long ago, John Sharp. So they might just be doing it to prevent that type of thing, reoccurrence, because it was that.
Yeah, it's only been like 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, but it goes through at 10 or 11 and goes back to 2 or 3. So I thought that was very odd because it never used to be at all before. Correct.
Is there any way you can make a call and maybe ask if they can do the deliveries during the day at a decent time?
will not ask that question during the meeting. Thank you for clarifying. I have nothing else. Number 8, unfinished business. Seeing none. Number 9, pre-filed resolutions.
84, resolution authorizing budget line modifications. Contract 17-1E for wastewater treatment plant installation of replacement bar screens.
Any discussion, council? Seeing none. Number 86.
Resolution accepting general contract 17-1G for wastewater treatment plant installation of replacement bar screens and grit removal system.
Any discussion, council? Seeing none. Number 87.
Resolution for amended authorization to contract for city buildings roof repair, adding fire department headquarters and hose number 3.
Any discussion, council? Seeing none. Number 88.
Resolution for authorization to contract with LED Energy Solutions LLC to replace all city lights with energy-efficient LED bulbs.
Any discussion, council? If they do have questions, there is a representative from the company here. Councilwoman Shikawa?
I do. I just wanted to know, was this something that we put out to bid? Did we get more than one company to give us a bid spec back? And I know this is something that's a positive for the city to move forward with energy efficiency, but I don't have any financials to know what we're gonna save, how we're gonna save it, how long it's gonna take for us to realize savings. So for a cost this big, unfortunately tonight, if I don't have any of that in front of me, I can't vote yes.
So, let me respond by letting you know, I know that you have a tight schedule, but we just did a presentation, a full presentation where all of that information was presented. And so I believe that your colleagues could fill you in on that if you want, but that information is also present here this evening, and the gentleman here behind me was the person that did the presentation. If you have any questions, you can ask. But this was something that we've been working on for quite a while now. It's not something that we just started working on. We did get 3 quotes, even though we were not obligated to do that.
You
And
got
so,
them from 3, right?
excuse me?
You got them from 3? Is that?
Three
Okay.
different. So we were prepared to move forward, but again, we did a full presentation to the council, and I believe everyone was on the same page at that time.
The presentation was at the finance committee meeting.
Right.
Do we have anything in writing? Do we have a packet telling me how much we're gonna save from the wastewater, from
Yes, we
the
do.
water plant, from street lighting? How long will it take to realize those savings, and what's the difference in doing one at a time versus all together?
Well, if I may interject,
There's
so
a whole
you know-
PowerPoint presentation if you want.
I'm sorry, Mayor?
Go ahead.
Okay. So, just so you know, that this scope is the LED lighting scope, okay, for energy savings. And it is approximately a $19,000 annual increase to the city's fund savings. So, meaning for the first 5 years of the payments, the energy that is saved is going to pay for the system with a windfall, so to speak, for the city of $19,000 for the first 5 years. After the 5th year, then it's much more of a windfall because the system is paid for. So it's, from day one, it's cash flow positive.
With a $100,000 rebate on the
Yes.
first day.
Yes, correct. With the $100,000 rebate, check in hand to the city, that everyone can decide on what to do with that rebate.
So the $1 million is, we're going over, what, 10 years? 25?
It's a 5-year, and then after that, it's all yours, okay? And that also includes the streetlight buyback from National Grid.
$252,244 on the 6th year. Cash money
Per year.
per year.
Yes.
Payback is over.
Over the equipment lifespan, it's about a $7 million savings, so you know.
The reason why I'm very skeptical at this time, just because the city's done through Siemens, and they've done the NYSERDA, and those if we all remember correctly, we did not realize the savings that we were told up front the way we were supposed to. And that's, what, 20 years ago and more recent? So I know they say that, you know, the money's cash flow, but I would have preferred to have a nice sit-down with the whole council, and have us go through the spreadsheets and, you know, again, what is wastewater, what is water, what is the fire department, what is street lighting, what is city hall, and what would be the benefits of maybe doing a little at a time versus all together, because still financially, I still don't think, you know, we're right on the right path with the city, so I don't know. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but
There's no out-of-pocket expense for the city.
That's correct.
Stacy, I wasn't here for that. I mean, I was here for that meeting. I'm not on that committee, but I came to that meeting and I was fully on board.
The immediate savings and immediate gains that was proposed was substantial enough to warrant the interest. And I asked the same question, in fact, I asked the mayor today, was this put out for bid? And he said it was, but even though we didn't have to put
Right.
it out for bid, so I'm confident that it should work. And then we also discussed some other things that we'll probably discuss later in regards to that.
Just so we're clear, I think that what the mayor said was that he got 3 quotes. He didn't say we put out a bid. So I don't believe there was an actual bid for it.
Quotes.
Thank
And
you.
were the quotes all for the same thing? Because I hear one of the companies that put in a quote was just for the street lighting and not for the indoor lighting. So they think that they've been kinda slighted because they didn't put in a quote for the same thing. So that would probably be like, from my perspective, if we put an RFP out for it, then everybody's bidding on the same thing, and then we don't have discrepancies anywhere.
I don't see any discrepancies. Just for the record, there are no discrepancies. This, again, was something we've been working on for over 9 months. We've met with several companies that provide this service, not just 3. We did obtain 3 quotes, although we didn't need to do that. And as I said before at the Finance Committee meeting, this is a savings, immediate savings to the city. I believe it's in the city's taxpayers' best interest that we move forward in this direction. Again, we're talking about an immediate check of $100,000, which could be something that helps us to not raise taxes. But not only that, long-term, we're talking about $20,000 savings a year. I don't know if anyone's aware of what we actually pay to National Grid annually, but you know, our fiscal affairs officer is here, and she can verify that we're paying probably $750,000 annually. So that's a pretty good amount of money that we're now going to be reaping the benefit of saving that. And not only that, we're upgrading our lights. So
That number
this is,
went up to $1.1 million, by the way, annually.
That includes the Constellation contract. So we have
Exactly.
2 electric providers.
No, 770 is total for the year.
That's in that grid and Constellation?
Right, Constellation didn't start till mid-year.
Within the resolution, it states, though, paying for itself within 5 years and operating cost savings approximately $220,000 per year. You just stated 19,000.
For the
For
first
the
5.
Okay.
And then it's saving the
Yeah, I have no problems, you know, sitting down and discussing this as a group. It's something that should have been done a long time ago, and I know when we first came on, we did some information on, was it Solar Liberty came down and gave us some bids, but, yeah, But for me, I just, you know, I'd like to see concrete numbers, and unfortunately, you know, I wasn't at the finance meeting, I'm not on that committee, and nor did I know that we were having a presentation of such importance. I probably would have been there if I had known.
The other thing is there's a member of a resident of the city that has some concerns about the lighting. He's present here today, so I'd like to just ask Mr. Sommerfeld to just speak on his concerns about the lighting
if I could just,
And how it may affect anything or
before he
anybody.
does that, I revised this because an issue was brought up at the Finance Committee regarding the Siemens contract from 2007. And so I just got a copy of that yesterday and reviewed it. And I revised the resolution to address that issue, both under the current option, and then there's an option B as to how we deal with that. So I just wanted to pass that out here. It's 2 pages front and back. Because I wasn't aware of the Siemens contract until it was brought up at the Finance Committee meeting. So definitely, it was a valid question. I thought we should try to address that as well.
So this copy is replacing the copy that you have on the agenda?
Correct. Because that contract, I didn't get a chance to review until after the due date for the resolutions.
So I'll just say for Mr. Sommerfeld to talk about the lighting issues.
Yes.
His concerns about the lighting and what it may do to the environment and the night creatures and whatnot.
Well, I come from this from the point of view of would like to be an amateur astronomer, and so light is of a particular concern to me. And while I'm not against LED lighting per se, I have some concerns about blue lighting, especially blue LEDs, which can affect vision. I don't know if you recall that the recent Apple and Google have recently made it so that your night settings on your phone don't shine blue light in your eyes to allow you to sleep better. And so that's an issue that I have with too much blue light kind of affects when I'm looking at the stars. But it also affects other animals as well, where if there's too much blue light, then that can affect the animals, daytime animals, thinking that it's daytime when it's actually night. It can upset them greatly. So I have concerns about that. And so
If I could
in a
ask,
way,
if I could ask Steve from LED Energy Solutions to address that, because if I recall at the Finance Committee meeting, he talked about different options in dealing with the blue light.
Sure. There's an actual light stick plugged in back there that, if I may, this is a diode-based light that we could certainly put a frosted lens on so you don't see the diodes. This particular lens is a clear lens so you can see the diodes. The point being, this is a 5,000 Kelvin temperature lamp. Okay, there's a blue tinge to this. Okay, we may remember from the internet there was a phenomenon if the dress is gold or if the dress is blue, depending on your prism, so to speak. So the point is that we can do what they call a very warm. The fluorescent lighting above us is about a 3,000 Kelvin temperature. It's a very warm glow. Okay, so instead of a 5,000 Kelvin or blue, we can go with a 3,000 Kelvin, and you'll never even see any kind of blue at all, if that is a potential concern for the environment.
with the links that I sent Councilmember Williams, it mentioned 3,000 was being cut off, where anything to the one side of that is very hazardous to the critters.
Sure.
Existence.
Sure. We could go very warm at 2,500 or 2,000 if we like, just so that's not a concern from that aspect. And this is of course, a material that is green from a recyclable standpoint, and you're going green from saving the planet, so to speak. So we're all going to LEDs. It's just a matter of time. So
Like I say, I'm not against
Yeah.
the idea and concept. I mean,
I understand.
3 or 4 years ago, I changed the fluorescent lights in my basement to LEDs.
Yes,
so-
sir. Good man. Thank you. Yes. Well, realize the savings now because the incentives and rebates won't be there forever. And the energy companies are incentivizing using less energy. And again, every day that week goes by is another day that we get closer to all going to LEDs. So it's a great cost savings for the city, as well as, of course, going green from an environmental standpoint. There's endless benefits.
Any further discussion on resolution number 88?
Making that change wouldn't change the price of making it so that we could still not interfere with the wildlife and get new lightings and save money and.
No price difference whatsoever.
What is the actual light output? Can you compare it to what we have right now? Will it be brighter, dimmer, same?
It'll be comparable to what it is now, unless it's requested, specified that you like it a little brighter in some areas.
So it can be tailored depending on location,
Yep.
whether it's indoor, whether it's street posts.
It's
The
more
plants.
environment friendly, and also, as you remember at the finance meeting, Randy Woodbury explained these lights have gases in there to cause cancer. The LED is more environmentally friendly, and you're gonna save energy on it.
And the town of West Seneca, again, felt that the public safety aspect really increased. And their morale, if you will, is also increased because of the transformation.
Any further?
And I did ask a question in regards to the lighting at, for example, when we put them up at Washington Park or any of our parks. In order to be able to get more security in the area, he said that they could be made brighter or in a way more adaptable to make sure that people can't hide behind the trees and stuff like that. Maybe that could work for us.
Precisely. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, just remind what I went over at the finance committee meeting. Hector spearheaded the process through professional services, the city of Mount Vernon, New York. Vice Science did this in 2014 very well. So they were kind of the leader of LED procurement in the state of New York. And a lot of people, just talked to the chief, he's been in other states where it's been implemented, and the color temperature is a critical issue. And we can specify it. And we can improve it. Right now, the color temperature of our lights is all over the place. It varies depending on where you are. And sometimes it's effective, and sometimes it's not. So you can have a consistent color temperature, it's the right temperature, not only for the environment, but also for law enforcement, things like that. And we can tune it in and make all of our lights more efficient and more safe for the whole city. We also, to talk about the other buildings, the committee that was put together picked this company out of professional services that they talked to before the decision to look at the other buildings just based on streetlights. With a couple of considerations. This company is able to move on to the next phase of solar and wind. So they have a background in that. And we want to be able to get LED as a pilot project and then move on to heavily into solar and wind. We think this is a company we can partner with a track record to do that. And then they suggested that, hey, you've already picked us, we'd like to get you even more safe. And they asked to go through all the buildings, we took them through all the buildings, and we were able to generate numbers that were even more cost effective on behalf of the city. So I just wanted to tell you what happened historically from my point of view.
The town of West Seneca also, just so you know, just worked with this company, and I believe they're saving, you realize the savings of what, 300,000?
Yes.
300,000 a year. And their supervisor, I guess, has a letter indicating that.
And I just wanted to add what I had added at the last meeting as well, that changing over to LEDs for a municipality brings you one step closer to being what NYSERDA calls a cleaner, greener community. They have 10 different pieces that indicate that you're a cleaner, greener community, and if you meet 4 out of those 10, then you're basically able to apply for grant funding for $50,000 towards green improvement projects such as solar and wind projects. So doing this LED change would make us one step closer to that $50,000 grant eligibility. So it's just another positive.
One last question is on this newly updated resolution, it shows on the backside the amount that's still owed for the Siemens equipment. I think that there's still a bit of a savings there, but there may be a problem with anybody on council that something that isn't even gonna be in there at that time, so is there a plan moving forward to cover the extra costs that, or not the extra, but the current costs that we'd be paying for the Siemens project?
Well, so,
Tell them what the option is. Tell them why you did the revision.
right, so the revision is twofold. One is to include the Siemens contract because it's an ongoing obligation we have, and to factor that into the financial analysis. So under the plan that was presented, the 5-year plan for that payout, even if we did nothing else, if we carried both contracts, we'd still have a positive, net positive savings. It would be much smaller, but we'd still have that savings. There's an option B where, in talking to Steve and his partner, you could rejigger the financing. If you extend it out 7 years and you wanted to take out Siemens, which is roughly a payoff amount of about $540,000, they could loop that into the financing. If you take the $100,000 rebate that National Grid offers right off the bat, you get a net additional cost of $443,000. That can be added into the financing package they've already put together. Essentially, we take out Siemens, so we're only carrying the one financing cost. And even at doing that, you'll see in the whereas where I forgot to bold it there, the third from the bottom on the second page, you're still seeing a net cash flow positive. The savings are still above the additional cost of financing the buyout of the Siemens contract.
What kind of interest are we talking about, the financing?
It's 2.95.
2.95?
So we've already paid all of the interest on the Siemens upfront, which is how contracts work. So now we're gonna be paying interest on top of that if we buy that out and pay interest on top of that again.
The Siemens contract is a joke, if you ask me.
Well, that's why I'm very reluctant to sit here and vote yes tonight. I would have preferred to have a really detailed breakdown of each building, cost, savings, if you do it now, if you do it in a package, if you do half now, if you do it all now, and, you know, this is a lot of money to not have all that. I mean, I know what you're telling me tonight, and
Sure.
but I'm always the glass half empty because we've been burned on this stuff in the past.
Right.
The bottom line here is it's in the city taxpayers' best interest to move forward in this direction, and I'll tell you why.
I
Because
agree,
we
but
are-
I'm not sure tonight for
We are
myself.
well, I understand that. You know, you have understandable concerns. I really wish you would have made it to that meeting because there was a full presentation done, and I believe all the questions that you have were answered at that meeting. But more importantly, what I'm getting at is that currently we are paying a heck of a lot more than we should be paying, and I'm telling you, it's, hovering at $800,000 here every year. So we can sit here and do nothing, but I believe our taxpayers deserve better. So this is an opportunity for us to do something that's right, that should have been done years ago. That's my opinion.
But just to
And
address,
again,
Still paying?
Councilwoman
No, this
Shalhoub's
wasn't done.
concerns.
This has never been done.
An attempt, something similar was.
This was never done. What Siemens did, I believe we have the paperwork on that, included all kinds of things that are not included here.
Well, the other issue is, it was a longer term note. When you talk about the amortization table, it was from 2007 essentially to 2025. Here we're talking about option A being a 5-year note essentially, or option B being a 7-year note. So we see the gain in the energy savings a lot faster than we did on the Siemens contract. It was a much longer term.
One part that was in there was that was warranted for 10 years.
That's correct.
Anything replacement, they come in and change it.
Yep.
In the 10 years, that was one of the good.
Is there any
aspects to it.
guarantee on savings?
Yes.
Guaranteed in writing, so what if we don't get those savings? Do we get anything from anybody else, or do we just take it again?
Well, one of the benchmarks we have is the incentive check for $100,000.
I'm just saying, if we don't meet these projected savings, what happens?
Well, as long as the correct engineering review is done on the actual lighting aspect of your city, because, for instance, if you add more equipment than there was on your electric bill from the previous year, those types of things. So if it's apples to apples that way, as far as the demand and the supply, these benchmarks are what we're going to save you we're gonna add $19,000 into your pocket each year while the system's being paid for.
Well, what happened by some chance if those benchmarks are not met?
They have to be.
Is it guaranteed by your company?
It's empirical data. It has to happen. Do we guarantee the savings? We can't guarantee how long, if you change your hours of operation, for instance, there's some parameters there that we can't, quote unquote, tell you that it's going to be guaranteed. However, if the parameters are the same as it was on the energy audit that we did,
And the electrical rates at the time of that audit.
and the electrical rates at the time as well, then you're going to have huge savings. And we could go, you know, let's just say this, right? Let's say that what if your savings is more than what we tell you? Okay, because your rate is not gonna go down, right? Your rate is gonna go up.
Sure, we get energy reform.
So in 3 years, when your rate goes up, your savings is gonna even be more than that.
I did say it was conservative.
It's a very conservative number.
And Steve, can you give us those calculations? Can you give us those?
Absolutely.
So Councilman Bishop.
Sure, it's all part of the input system that we use for our presentation, for our PowerPoint. It's all this software that we use, and it's based on the inventory that's currently in your city and the lighting that is currently on for the amount of hours that it's burning onto your, compared to your kilowatt per hour. So we take your existing inventory and then we plug in what we will use instead of that. And the whole idea behind LED is that it's a 30% of your light output currently. These are 32-watt lamps above us. We replace it with a 12-watt lamp with the same lumen output. So the kilowatt per hour is dramatically decreased. That's the whole idea. And it lasts 10 years because, quite frankly, that temperature up there in those troffers, as we call them, it's about 200 degrees. Okay, like, you go in your attic, it's hot. Right? The whole idea with the LED lamp is that it stays at about room temperature. Okay, it runs at room temperature. So you ever change your bulb at home and it's hot for a second? Okay, it's running about 180 degrees, give or take. Okay, so that's what burns out lamps. That's what burns out ballasts. That's what burns out equipment, is the heat. The whole idea with LED is it runs about 70 degrees. That's why it lasts a long time. Yes, sir. Or, I'm sorry.
Yeah, DPW gets way more magazines than we need, but, we do have reports from other communities, and engineering newsletter, and American City, and things like that, and LED lighting is revolutionary. What the technology we had available in 2007 for Siemens was not a revolutionary technology, it was an evolution of fluorescent lighting. And fluorescent lighting has mercury vapor in it, vapors off the wall. So they went to compact fluorescent, they got rid of all the luminescent type light bulbs. That saved some energy, yes, but it was not a revolutionary technology. LED is a revolutionary technology. It doesn't, the heat that he's talking about is wasted energy. Instead of the energy going into making light, it goes into making heat. LEDs make light, and that's why you got a flat screen TV, that's why it's a revolutionary technology that we really didn't have in 2007. And all of the stories that I'm reading are all positive about cities going to LED. They're all happy. If there would have been some bad stories, these magazines will report that stuff too. So the track record around the country is good with LEDs. Not that there probably aren't some bad ones out there, but if we're careful, I believe we can make it a good story. And Mount Vernon, New York, had a good success with doing it in 2014. West Seneca just recently did it in our backyard. So the track record in the professional literature is good for LED lighting.
Any further discussion on resolution number 88? Resolution number 89.
Resolution for authorization to revise Calgon carbon filtration contract.
Any discussion? Resolution number 90.
Resolution for revision of Dunkirk's procurement policy.
Any discussion?
Mayor Chairman, I just have revised this one for two reasons. One is, I had to reread the council rules, and you couldn't be a sponsor, so I changed that to Councilman Williams. And the second revision is, in conversations with our fiscal affairs officer, I just addressed the initial part of the procurement policy. She recommends a more robust revision of the procurement policy, and I agree with her. And so we're going to work together to revise the rest of the procurement policy. So what I did is just allude to that here and say this is part one, and hopefully we'll have part two ready for you next council meeting, be a resolution.
So this is something that has to be tabled for public hearing? This is part of our code book, and is this something that we would have to, city charter?
Good question. I
This
mean,
is in the book, so.
it's an appendix to the charter. It's not actually code in the charter. The policy is an appendix to the actual city code. So I don't know if it falls under that requirement or not. I'd have to look into that.
Okay. I was thinking it would have been for public discussion,
There's
but,
also enabling language in that to say it shall be reviewed and modified at a regular basis.
Right, and the original
Right.
procurement policy does say that. And from my understanding, the policy was written in 1992. The date I have in the book, I have in the law department office, says 2009, but I don't know if that meant it was revised in 2009, or if the whole book was just a 2009 edition.
that I don't know.
That's unclear to me. So that's why, at least in terms of the dollar amounts, I think had to be revised for today's dollars.
If you can please inform me of whether or not it needs to be tabled before we start the council meeting tonight, so I can do the proper procedure at that time. I'd appreciate it. Any further discussion on number 90? Moving on to number 91.
Resolution to accept 8 additional hanging baskets as a donation and remove payment provision from Revitalize Dunkirk's hanging basket agreement with the city of Dunkirk.
Any discussion, council? Okay, seeing none, moving on to new business. 10, any new business before us? Walk-ins? Seeing none, motion to adjourn workshop session. So moved at 5:37. Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Williams? Aye. Councilmember Vermonto? Aye. Councilmember Gonzalez? Aye. Councilmember Chikala?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Warsham?
Aye, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
I have no idea.
Come on, we're late. Let's go. Now, are those LEDs going in the street lights too? Yes, sir. Now, are they totally sealed for moisture? Yes, sir. Because my LED lights at home for Christmas aren't always sealed. Yeah, but the water bills are up.
I think that might have been about that. And that might be why a lot of them say 2009 on them, because I think they updated and went through everything. Ask him for sure. I think that to be the case.
Rich, you have a million things to do, but that is for environmental facilities. They just, did you happen to see that email?
I did. It's actually, it was on my.
Yeah, where the prices are coming down and the cost of energy efficiency's going way up.
And I can send it to them tomorrow morning. Sorry to
Thanks.
left to receive. Roll that right into this finance. 2 extra years. Give her $76,000 a year.
Call to order the City of Dunkirk Common Council meeting for September 19th, 2017 at 5:48 PM. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Here.
Councilmember Belanto?
Here.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Here.
Councilmember Shikawa? Here. Councilmember at-large Washington.
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Certification of prior meetings.
This is to certify that an official copy of the minutes of the Common Council meeting of Tuesday, September 5th, 2017 was presented to the mayor on Wednesday, September 13th, 2017. Pursuant to Section 3.03 of the Dunkirk City Charter, all items presented to the mayor are now in full force and effect. In witness whereof I have hereto set my hand and seal of the city of Dunkirk, New York, this 19th day of September, 2017.
I need a motion dispensing with the reading of the minutes. Councilman Gonzalez with the first. Second. Councilman Williams with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Belanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez? Here. Councilmember Shikawa? Aye. Councilmember at-large Washington.
Aye. Number 3, reading of the privilege of the floor regulations.
The privilege of the floor shall be extended to any person appearing for themselves, in which case the individual shall be limited to 3 minutes, and to any person representing a group who shall be limited to 5 minutes. When recognized, please stand and state your name. I'm going to ask you to please speak it directly into the mic today. The city clerk shall have the duty to maintain such time limits, and the councilman at large may determine in his discretion whether individuals are speaking for themselves or representing groups.
All set?
Councilman at-large Wishin shall maintain good order and may require any speaker to cease speaking if remarks are made in bad taste or are slanderous or non-germane to any action taken or contemplated by council. The time limits specified above shall be strictly adhered to, except that a speaker may be allowed to complete a statement or thought started before such time has expired.
With that said, privilege of the floor is now open. If you have anything you would like to share with us, please step forward to the podium and microphone and speak directly into the microphone. Is that what you wanted me to say? Microphone?
Hi, I'm Jim Fisher with Revitalize Dunkirk, and I would just like to say that Revitalize Dunkirk appreciates the resolution that's on the agenda tonight on the hanging baskets. And also, our monthly meeting is Thursday at 6:30 at the incubator. The public is invited, and anybody else here is invited also. So come and join us. Thanks.
Thank you, Jim. Anybody else wishing to speak this evening, please step forward to the microphone and podium and state your name and address. Please speak into the microphone.
My name is Chantel Gatto. I live at 65 Lakeshore Drive, East Dunkirk, New York, 14448. Well, you know where I'm at. I just wanted to speak on behalf of the residents of Columbus Street on the 4th and 5th blocks. They expressed the concern of cars going fast in the area, and that area, due to the population, has lots of children. And they even have, on the 4th Street block, a basketball hoop that faces towards the streets. They do, it's a one-way, so they kind of feel like some sort of liberty to be able to play a little bit more. They are just requesting that the city may consider placing kids at play signs or children at play signs in order to slow down the traffic in that area, because they're concerned of to bring awareness, because they're afraid their kids might get hurt. Also, on a second note, for Alan Zarowski, a friend of mine, wanted me to personally thank you on behalf of the work that he's receiving from your office, that's generated from this housing project and cleaning up the area, and that he's excited to get more work, and that he really appreciates everything that you're doing. And that's all.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing privilege of the floor, please step forward to the microphone and podium and state your name and address.
I'm Mike Civiletto of 138 Ruggles Street, speaking on behalf of the Community Advisory Committee. One of the things that we came up with as a concern at our last meeting was the traffic in front of the middle school area as school lets out. We have a few of our citizens that live around that area that says it's what do they say?
Very congested.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's a chaos there, and we haven't seen any police presence there. So, just wondering if that's okay. I'm getting that from citizens who live in the area. One concern that they have is Central Avenue and 4th. The kids are walking across the street against the lights and stuff, and I don't know if maybe a police officer could be there just for a couple of weeks to get them to understand how to cross the streets and what they need to do. Just a request. That's it. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mike. Anybody else wishing to take advantage of privilege of the floor, please step forward and state your name and address. Last opportunity. Anybody else wishing to take advantage of privilege of the floor, please step forward and state your name and address. Seeing none, privilege of the floor is now closed. Number 5, communications from the mayor, including disapproval messages.
I just have 2 quick updates for you. I would like our Planning and Development Director to give you particular details on, but the first one is the dog park. Ron Bowers from Purina did come in this week and provided us with a $10,000 check. So we are moving forward with the dog park. And the second one is the Zombie Properties Grant. And I would like our Planning Director to give you particular details on both of those projects.
Sure. In regards to the dog park,
as the mayor said, we have received the $10,000 from Purina and are very happy and thankful for that. We also did sign the lease agreement for the dog park. We will be having a press release that is going to be going out to start accepting donations for the dog park because the fencing will cost a little more than the $10,000. And we'll be accepting those in cash, check, and credit, and all information will be in the newspaper and on the city's website very, very shortly, so look out for that if you're looking to donate for the dog park. In regards to the Zombie Properties Grant, we have started our surveying for this grant. We have 12 great volunteers that are going out throughout the community, throughout the entire city, to do a visual survey of the housing stock in the city of Dunkirk. They won't be marking you for any pieces that Al does, but they will be taking a general survey of the conditions of the housing so that we can better assess where our good housing is, where not so good, and where our worst housing is, so that we can focus our efforts on those not so good areas to make it better for more people to want to live in the city of Dunkirk. So our team will be out and about in blue volunteer t-shirts that we provided to those volunteers. So just keep an eye out. Thanks.
Mayor, anything else?
That's it, thank you.
Thank you. Number 6, communications from the public and petitions.
Request from the Real Moms of Dunkirk Football Committee is requesting the use of the corners of Central Avenue and 4th Street, Central Avenue and 5th Street, and Doty Street near the Fire Hall to conduct a Tag Day fundraiser on September 23rd, Saturday, 2017, from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m.
Any discussion, council? Seeing none, I need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions. Councilman Gonzalez with the first, Councilman Bamanto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Wisha.
Aye.
Notice of summons from Princess I case for personal injuries allegedly sustained due to a fall at the senior center's parking lot.
Need a motion to refer this to the City Attorney's Department. Councilman Williams with the first. Councilwoman Shikawa with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Wisha.
Aye.
Request from Dunkirk City School District to have one police officer for supervision of the high school varsity girls soccer game against Olean on September 28th from 4 p.m. till 7 p.m.
Any discussion? Need a motion to refer this to the Dunkirk Police Department. Councilman Williams with the first, Councilman Gonzalez with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Wisha.
Aye. Reports of standing committees, boards, and commissions. Councilman Williams, the floor is yours.
I just wanted to mention, I had talked to Hector about this last week at some time. The music on the pier, we had just the one rain out, and then we ran it again. As a right around 20-year member of the Kosciuszko Club myself, I think that they kind of probably need to be reached out to see what we can do. The weather was pretty bad that day. Just wondering what we could do to kind of make things right with them because of the way the weather went and how things went there. They paid a lot of money for the sponsorship. I know things still were going off there and bands were still playing, but it just was a less than desirable night to be out on that evening, and I guess in my opinion probably we should have thought about canceling it before we went on with it. So just wondered if anything we could do in the future, and like I said, maybe reach out to them to do something for next year so maybe we don't lose them.
I could do that. You know, the one thing that we did have was the cooperation from Mother Nature. You know, sometimes she can be a blessing, and sometimes she can be a beast. Mm-hmm. And we were very thankful, grateful for the season that we had. You know, with the Kosciuszko Club, I grew up with a lot of the Polish community, the McCoyaks, the Wallaces. You know, Chester Tarnowski was my boss. He threw some of the best parties around, let me tell you, at Kosciuszko, at the Doghouse. So we're very happy to have them as our sponsor. If there's something I could do to appease them, certainly entertain that idea. unfortunately, we couldn't cancel it because the cost for the fireworks would have gone up another $1,000 for the next day, which was also scheduled to rain overnight. So we wouldn't have gained anything. The Zambelli production crew did an outstanding job. We had more of an opportunity and for a window to do the show on that Friday, or on that Thursday, excuse me, of music on the pier. And we couldn't risk leaving those, the shells out, you know, and I commend the fire department, the police, and Randy for standing out there also with them. And it was a terrific show. We have a video out on Facebook, and the public that was there, they were just oohing and eyeing, and when the fireworks were done, you could hear the horns, and everybody was just ecstatically excited. So we were very pleased with the outcome there. As far as Kosciuszko, as I said, I would definitely entertain trying to do something with them. Maybe we can hold an event at their club, you know.
Okay. Yeah, just, if you could just reach out to see how you can.
I would have talked to them there had someone come, but nobody from the club even acknowledged me there that night. The only one who came to me was James Curtin, and I presented the plaque to him, and he took it to the club. I also ordered some food and sent it to the club.
Correct.
And the food that I ordered for them, we ended up eating it because it got cold. So I did what I could.
Okay,
with
thank you.
what Mother Nature gave us, you know.
Felt I had to ask if you could reach out to them, so I did that. The other thing would be for Al, that property on Deer Street that I had you look at, if you could kind of just go down a little bit of the history so that anybody that might have called and complained about what's going on there will know that it's not that nothing's being done, that there's
what I say here, but yes, we have gone through the legal procedures twice and have reached out to her to accept volunteer help. She has not done that. We are having another hearing pretty soon here in October with the Property Maintenance Board, and we'll go from there.
Okay, and then hopefully we can all sit down and maybe talk other strategies other than if somebody can't afford to make improvements on their house. Sending a citation and sitting in jail isn't always probably the best thing to do, but if that's all we have, then maybe we need to try to look to change something. And then also that's probably not so much for Al, where are we with the Floramo plan? How are we going on trying to get that moving?
Yeah, so that's a part of the zombie property survey.
Okay.
We're doing the surveying and kind of defining our areas, identifying those areas, and then our consultants are also working on the recommendations with the Floramo plan to better fit the city of Dunkirk. So we're working on it.
Is there any timeline of when we may have that in front of council?
The survey is supposed to be done the first or second week of October, and then we'll be working on a recommendations piece, so maybe by the end of October.
Okay, thank you. And then lastly, I just want to say our DPW committee meeting will be next Wednesday, the 27th of September at 4 o'clock in the mayor's conference room. We used to do it on Wednesdays. We had to change that when Director Bankowski was here because he had legislative meetings, so we're back to the fourth Wednesday of the month at 4 o'clock at the mayor's conference room. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. Councilman Bamonto?
Just like to say to Councilman Williams, this Thursday would be great to have another music on the pier. The weather's supposed
Yes,
to be
it would
fantastic. September 10th, I attended the picnic at the Point. It was bigger and better than last year, well attended. I'd like to thank everybody who was responsible for that, mayor and all your crew, the volunteers that were there. A lot of people showed up. It was a beautiful day, and I can't wait to see that happen next year. And another announcement, Marauder Drive near Lucas Avenue, the Dunkirk School District finished the sidewalk. So anybody had some issues before, I know we talked about it before with the trees being cut down, and they're promising to put up more trees than were cut down, and possibly a fence. And that's all I got.
Thank you, Councilman Bamonto. Councilman Gonzalez?
We had the economic development meeting this afternoon, which was, we have a lot of information that, the fact that Councilman Williams brought up in regards to the zombie properties, and informed us that once they get this survey that they're doing right now, which all pertains to the Floramo law that we're trying to get put into the city, this is one of the steps that has to go through before we can move on with the rest of it. Pretty sure the attorney is working on that, so we need that aspect to be done before we can continue that. That's something that's very important to me, that we need to get done sooner than later. As you notice on the judges' quorum that we had the other day, that was one of the issues that was brought up by many folks in the audience in regards to the zombie properties and the Floramo law that we're trying to initiate. So we're looking at this diligently, and hopefully we'll get it done this year, if at all possible. Also, in regards to the middle school congestion that he brought up, Mr. Civiletto brought up, that's always been that way, you know, that it gets very busy when the kids are coming out of school with the parents picking up the kids and so on. And and I seen the presence of the police there, but, you know, kids don't listen. They'll run in front of the street, they'll cross the street without looking. And I know it's a safety hazard, but what can be done in regards to that area when the kids come out, it's gonna be hard, okay, because it's such a small congested area that is there. Let's see, what else? We, in the economic development meeting, we went over a few issues, which we'll be discussing later in executive session, but also in regards to the Barry Point and the Stowe project, all moving on ahead. So soon we'll get something in writing in regards to Stowe and what they plan to do in the city in regards to the buildings that they want to take over and repair and so on. And that's all I have. It's all you.
All right. Randy, White Street.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
I was with one of the nice neighbors about 9 o'clock last night. We walked the whole street. It's a very pleasant neighborhood. And if she's listening, I'd like to say hello to her. She came out and she walked the whole thing with me, showed me every stone that we will fix before we pave it. So I'm really proud of the crew that built that water line. And I'm anticipating being equally proud of the crew that does the true and leveling courses and doing the county shared services and getting that all paved. We have 3 beautiful fire hydrants on that street that did not have fire protection at all before. They had a fire hydrant in the middle, but that hydrant was useless to this gentleman to my left. Now all 3 of them are going to be, I'm hoping if we test them, it's going to be painted green. A green fire hydrant is one of the better fire hydrants, am I right, Chief? You're right. So we're going to give you green fire hydrants.
Okay. Any idea when it will be all completed?
They're finishing that up today. We're doing the testing and tying in the 8 houses that were tied in last week, so, and then we'll schedule the shared services paving. I would say sometime mid-October, you should have a pristine road there.
And the reason I ask is because I've asked for the last several months, and I've always been told it's going to be next council meeting, and my phone has been very busy with residents that have been very patient, and I'm trying to appease them and let them know that it is coming, and I'm just hoping that we don't end up having weather that doesn't allow it to be finished by the end of 2017.
There's a piece of wood to knock on right now.
'Cause unfortunately, I don't think my next comment will probably be a very nice one, and I don't want that to happen, Randy.
Okay, I agree with you, but let's keep the weather good and think positive of it. Yeah.
Thank you. I know last year we had a little bit of difference of council on what we should have the trick-or-treat hours for Halloween. That is coming up, so if you guys want to discuss and go ahead and sponsor a resolution for the next meeting in October, what the majority of the council would like to see, we need to get that in for October. Mayor, where do we stand on the financial restructuring board? Have they given you any reports or suggestions yet?
No, not as of yet. They're still working on that. We did make contact with them 2 weeks ago. They requested some further information, which we did provide for them, and they're still working.
Okay. And what about our audit?
Our audit, I'll defer that to our fiscal affairs officer.
Last I heard, I've got given everything that, I think was requested of us to Director Galecki. They said within 2 weeks of them getting everything, they would have the update document done, and within a month, the audit. But that's sort of been the same answer for a while now, so hopefully we'll hear more. I haven't heard anything from her lately. I can touch base with her again.
I know it was a new company that we went with, which, so it's all brand new material to them, which, you know, we didn't have that issue when we had the same auditors here before, but the reason for the change was valid. My only concern is I'm concerned how the mayor is gonna have what he needs to give us a proper budget for 2018. I mean, I can't imagine sitting there right now and trying to guess on what we should be doing when we don't even have our audit done. It's gotta be
I
kinda hard.
think most of our numbers for 2016, 2000, should be pretty good. We did a lot of adjustments. She wanted us to do a lot of adjustments in-house, so they wouldn't have quite too many external adjustments by them. So the figures that we have should be pretty good. I don't think there's gonna be much surprise.
Are you working on just one budget? Are you kind of working on possibly a contingency of any kinds, or a couple areas that you might have to change around?
I'm going to be working on one budget. Again, the Lieutenant Governor has said that she would get back to me before the end of the month. But if I do not receive anything in writing, then I'll have to proceed with the cuts that we are going to have to make.
Thank you. And one last thing on a positive note. Something simple as painting rocks and putting them around the city of Dunkirk. The Dunkirk Rocks logo on the back has turned into something really large. And I want to thank every person who's out there painting the rocks, placing them, the parents and grandparents that are out there, you know, putting the photos on Facebook and social media of all the fun that they're having throughout our city parks. I just want to say thank you to everybody, because it's a wonderful thing to see everybody out, and it's really turned into something big, so thank you. That's all I have.
All set. Councilman Gonzalez, you have something to
Yeah,
add?
sorry, I have one question I forgot to ask, and this is for the chief of police, and I know I asked it last time in regards, I'm getting a lot of complaints, and it happens to be on weekends, and it happens to be on Friday nights, and anytime there's a nice sunny day, where people have their windows open and so on, the constant problem with people with their radios up so high. Have we been ticketing people? Do we have?
We've been, the officers, when it's happening, they are issuing tickets for city court for us. We do, best we can with catching up to them.
I've gotten complaints along the upper part of Bay Street, upper part of Park Avenue, upper part of Washington, 6th Street, usually during Friday afternoons and Sunday afternoons for some reason. The other day, the wife and I were guarding up front, and I thought I was at a disco there for a minute, because the noise was so, and I pointed to the guy and I said, turn your thing off. And, you know, he gave me a high sign.
Remind those that are calling out, if they can call into the station with a description and direction of travel. If we've got a car in the area, we can get them right there to check on it.
Well, they say by the time we call him, he's already done it the other side of the city.
We'll do the best we can, because
I
if we hear
appreciate-
it, we'll ticket them if we hear it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say that I'm letting the people know that we are doing something about it. We're not letting them just go on their way and do whatever they want. So, thank you.
Thank you.
That's all.
Thank you, Councilman. I asked my questions during the workshop and throughout the week, but I did have one little addition. Since we were thanking people for Thursday Music on the Pier, we forgot to thank Clerk Ramos for everything that he does for Thursday on the Pier as well, so I didn't want him to feel slighted by any means. That is all I have for reports. Number 8, unfinished business.
I was asked by Councilwoman Shikawa to thank some people for the Hurricane Harvey relief.
Oh, okay.
Give me pleasure to address this forum as a department head. During the devastating Hurricane Harvey in the early parts, we got several phone calls in City Hall, and also Councilwoman Shikawa asked if we could help in getting some relief out to the hurricane-stricken areas. And that time it was just Houston and the surrounding areas. So the mayor asked me to do what I could for it. We were able to reach out to Mr. and Mrs. Alan Shaw and Mr. and Mrs. Burgess. They allowed us to use a warehouse. Also, Jacob Sam was very instrumental in giving us an 18-wheeler and pallets, a crew, and people to pack the truck. And it was nice because we fell under the directive of Mike Ferguson, who had a ton of people as volunteers come in the first 2 days. It was Dunkirk, Fredonia residents that were manning the drop-off point, which was strategically started at Thursday at the pier, because we had an attraction already there Thursday at the pier to draw people down. It was an excellent time. We thank Special Events Coordinator Hector Roses for allowing us to coordinate with Thursday on the pier. We thank Mike Ferguson. Like I said, when we started this thing, it started with volunteers from Dunkirk and Fredonia, and then I started seeing volunteers from Ripley and people from as far as Perrysburg and other communities, and it was the entire county that came together to get this relief out to the Houston area. I'd like to thank Super Dan. You know who you are. And Dan was there every day and every time the drop-off was open. I'd like to thank the mayor for allowing us to do this in the city, and for allowing me to help with this relief. The truck left on Saturday afternoon, fully loaded for Florida. After it leaves Florida, it will be going to Houston to take relief to those people that need it out there. So thank everybody involved.
Thank you, Clerk Ramos. Moving along, number 8, unfinished business. There is none. Number 9, pre-filed resolutions.
84, resolution authorizing budget line modifications.
Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Belmonte?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa?
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Wisha?
Aye.
Resolution accepting electrical contract 17-1E for wastewater treatment plant installation and replacement bar screens.
Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Belmonte?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa?
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Wisha?
Aye.
Resolution accepting general contract 17-1G for wastewater treatment plant installation and replacement bar screens and removal.
Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Belmonte?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa?
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Wisha?
Aye.
Resolution for amended authorization to contract for city buildings roof repair, adding fire department headquarters and hose number 3.
Any discussion, council? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Belmonte?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa?
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Wisha?
Aye.
88, resolution for authorization to contract with LED Energy Solutions LLC to replace all city lights with energy-efficient LED bulbs.
Any discussion, council? Councilwoman Shikawa?
Yeah, we had quite a discussion during the workshop about this resolution. And for myself, I don't have to sit here and tell you that LED is not the way to go. It absolutely is, and I would like to further pursue this. However, I don't have the numbers that I really need personally to move forward with this. I would have liked to seen it broken down into wastewater, water plant, street lighting, city hall, fire halls. And the reason that I'm so leery just with what I have in front of me is not because it wasn't a good presentation, not because it's not a wonderful thing to do, but because we've had some issues in the past with moving forward in these directions. And for me, I'm just being very cautious. So for me, tonight, I just don't feel comfortable. I would have liked to have seen us table this for more discussion, but I don't think I have the support for that tonight, so tonight I'll be voting no.
Any further discussion? Councilman Belmonte?
I was at the Finance Committee meeting for this presentation. I'm not on that committee, but I showed up. Well-presented presentation. It's not like they've been doing this for 2 or 3 weeks. This is 9 months plus. They were going at this, and they gave us a super presentation. Hector, the mayor, Rebecca, everybody involved. I have no problems whatsoever voting yes for this tonight.
Any further discussion? Councilman Gonzalez?
I will echo the sentiments of my colleague. At this presentation that we had was very interesting. It showed us that we can save money in the city. It showed us that we need to move on with the LED. It shows us that quotes were put out for other people to bid on, but it wasn't really needed at that time. I feel that this is something that will benefit the city in general. The immediate impact of $100,000 is going to be needed quite quickly in regards to the fact that we don't have the NRG on board as we thought we were going to be. So it would help defray some of the of us not going into raising taxes this year, which is what I'm hoping. So I will be voting for this contract.
Any further discussion? Only one left. Councilman Williams?
Just want to add on there that I discussed with them after the workshop. If we do pass this tonight, the work should be done by January 1st, so all the savings that we experience and stuff would take part in next year's budget. So I think that's good. I think that, it would have been nice for the councilwoman to be able to get the numbers and stuff, but I also was at the finance committee meeting, and I'm comfortable moving ahead forward with this also at this time, and I will also be voting yes.
Any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
No.
Councilmember Elijah Wisher.
Aye.
89, resolution for authorization to revive Calgon carbon filtration contract.
Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Wisher.
Aye.
Number 90, resolution for revision of Dunkirk's procurement policy.
So I researched that for your question, and I will refer us to section 4.02 of the city charter under powers and duties of council. In letter E, we have adoption of administrative code which shall set forth the details of administration of the city government in harmony with the provisions of this charter. That's an included power under council. I would read, again, these policies, which are appendices to the charter, as those kind of essentially administrative code. It's not a charter provision per se. So I don't think we need, the public hearing process as we would if it were a charter revision.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions for the city attorney pertaining to that? Okay, seeing none, any further discussions on the policy itself? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Wisher.
Aye. Thank you, Richard.
91, resolution to accept 8 additional hanging baskets as a donation and remove payment provisions from Revitalize Dunkirk's hanging basket agreement with the city of Dunkirk.
Any discussion, council? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Wisher.
Aye. Number 10, new business. Is there a 92 that I was just informed of? There is a walk-in, resolution number 92.
That man walking.
Because of the timing of this, I am going to ask Clerk Ramos to read the entire resolution from beginning to end. Not just the title.
Resolution number 92-2017, September 19, 2017, by Councilman Bamanto. Resolution identifying the City of Dunkirk Public Works Director as the city's responsible local official authorized to access NY dots, NYS dots, and EBO system. Whereas New York State Department of Transportation, NYSDOT, has implemented a web-based reporting system called Equitable Business Opportunities to streamline and satisfy the Title VI civil rights reporting requirements for Bridge, New York, aid locally sponsored contracts, and whereas NYS DOT requires each local municipality as subrecipient to NYS DOT of funds and sponsors of Bridge NY aid contracts to identify a single primary user in order to access the use and use the system for Title VI compliance reporting requirements. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council identifies the Public Works Director as the city's responsible local official authorized to access the EBO system. Be it further resolved that this resolution is effective immediately.
And just so the public is aware, the reason I asked him to read that in its entirety is for clarity and, what am I trying to say, transparency, in case there's any questions or concerns with that. And I'd also like Randy, if you could just have a quick footnote on that as well.
We've fast-tracked the Bridge New York grant that we got from Governor Cuomo of Mayor Rose's. Early in the year, we immediately did proposals from engineers who said they could get the project done this year. We've been moving very rapidly, and a lot of long hours doing that. And we've made DOT move faster than they're used to moving. And some of that nudging came from as high as the governor's office himself. And of the 20 Bridge New York grants that were given by Governor Cuomo for Western New York Region 5 DOT, we are the only one that's going to be built this year. Because in my opinion, the residents on West Howard Avenue have been waiting 10 years for the culvert that's been out, and we want to get that done this year. We all do. And we have the opportunity. We've done everything we possibly can. This last piece of information, the contractor is not asking for any waivers to the requirement to hire women businesses and the requirement to hire minority businesses. They're going to do that. They're going to do it at the required percentage that they're required. Many other contractors ask for waivers. And now, in order to prove that, we used to have to submit that in paper. Just over the last week, the DOT's implemented a internet-based reporting system. So we have all the paperwork to do that. We have to put it on the internet in order to keep this project moving. So it's a simple paperwork type of thing. We're going to meet all the requirements. We're just going to do it on the internet. And I wanted to thank you for letting this be walked in so that we're having a pre-construction meeting either later this week or the beginning of next week and kick off this project. The culvert's being built right now in Buffalo. It's been approved by DOT in Albany. Every rebar, every piece of concrete that's being poured right now in Buffalo and will be precast concrete pulled to the site as soon as possible was approved by all the engineers in Albany, things like that. We really fast-tracked this. And by tonight, your action is going to fast-track a little bit more of the paperwork. We're going to get that thing built.
Thank you, Randy. Appreciate it. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa?
Aye.
Councilmember at large Voisin?
Aye. We have to have an executive session, I am told.
I would like to make a motion to go into executive session to propose acquisition, sale, or lease of real property, or to propose acquisition of securities or sale of exchange securities held by such public body, but only when public would be substantially affected by the value thereof. It is expected that no new business will be taken after the executive session is concluded.
Clerk, please call the roll for executive session.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa?
Aye.
Councilmember at large Voisin?
Aye.
Item 28, executive session.
Senor, request revision for the hanging basket.
It will be, whether you like it or not, it will be.